Meet James and Kevin. Both James and Kevin bought property and found the perfect tenants. Or so they thought. They soon realized that their tenants were not paying. So what could James and Kevin do to solve their problems? Well, here's the solution.
Welcome to Expello. We help by simplifying the eviction process when the tenants refuse to keep to their side of the rental agreement. Stay tuned and see how we can help you.
So why choose Expello?
We have a 100% success rate obtaining evictions. 90% success rate getting tenants to pay or move out after breach. We work with property specialist attorneys. We pay all eviction costs with no cap. We have no waiting period. Plus Expello members get 15% discount on all legal fees for any other work to be done. Sign up with Expello and let us handle the entire process for you.
James decides not to sign the mandate as he thinks he will not need it. He'll handle it himself. Kevin decides to accept the option to sign the mandate, as he would rather be safe than sorry. Here you can see how efficient the process is by using Expello. The process continues for poor James. Meanwhile, Kevin is living stress-free. So the moral of the story is Kevin is wise. Be more like Kevin. And choose Expello. Meet James and Kevin.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. It's always good to start by testing one's sound and everything. So that's why we play the nice video, and also to remind you what we offer and all of those type of things. And I think overall, I just love the video. It's such a happy video. Welcome to each and every one. Please, in the chat, please say good morning. Tell us where you are from. It's always great to hear from you. On this 15th of February, I hope nobody's got a headache from too much wine on Valentine's Day. Morning, Joannette. Thank you for joining us here from Rodepoort. It's so close by. I hope I'm not talking so loudly that you can hear me. Ach, Leandra, it makes me so happy if some of my clients is actually online and is listening, because I think that is what is making our agents flourish. Just to say, and while I'm talking, Joannette and Leandra, both those agencies are some of our top 20 agencies. Talking about numbers, right? Top performing agencies. We're doing a bit of numbers, seeing how many people are referring people to Expello. And you'll also, if you go to our website, you'll note that you are quite high up on the agencies. So yes, that's one of the perks. If you are using Expello, we will market you on our side as well. And the more you load, the higher your logo gets onto our website. Hey, it's fun perks, things that you guys maybe not have known. Marianne, I see you also online, and I know that you don't always love Zoom, so thank you for doing the effort of being here. I appreciate it. At the bottom of your screen, so this is now part of the fun stuff, you'll always see there is a button that says reactions. Now, I overall don't think my voice is so soothing. I don't think I've got a radio voice, and I don't always like speaking to myself. So please use the reaction button and give us some feedback. You'll see, I think I just gave you all a cup of coffee because that's what the emojis does. It tells us what you guys are doing, and we can really have fun of it. enjoy it. I think that's very important. Faith, thank you for joining us from Pretoria. Oh, I've got good news for you, all the people that's in Pretoria. I'm not going to jump the gun, but I've got very good news for you all as well. We are still letting some people in, they're joining. A lot of people only join at 9. So we're just going to give them that 2 seconds to say, welcome and log in. Make sure you can hear me. If you're not hearing somebody talking a lot in your ear, it means your sound is not on. I'm not a Chinese movie. You know those movies where you see the mouse moving, but you don't hear the sound. So please log in. We are going to do the recording. I know a lot of people are saying, yes, Elise, but that's what you said that about January. We have an amazing media person, and she went and edited the video for us. Because if you actually attended that session, you would have remembered halfway through, I had this very exciting coughing episode. So I said to people, there's no way we're putting something on YouTube forever. Be out there while I'm coughing. So we edited a bit, and we are going to make that available. So that's going to be on there as well. So that's quite exciting. So we are talking about a topic which I see. Oh, sorry, Mariska. Hello, people from Polokwane. I wonder if you guys are as hot and warm as we are here in the West Rand. Sure. We got a bit of rain and now it's super hot again. I can't wait to come and join you guys. One of our honorary guests are on here this morning. Welcome, Jason. A qualified attorney. We are very excited and thank you for taking the time to join us. That is very exciting. They're based in Sandton, hey, Jason, if I remembered correctly. So this is going to be a very good morning. So let's jump into it. Some news. So our format for every month, we are going to have a very short webinar. I now set out for an hour because sometimes a discussion happens and that's where we learn stuff with the discussions. But if we talked and it's done, then that's where we're going to end up. We have a very controversial topic this morning, but I see it's something that's popping up more and more. And I don't think that people always know how to handle it. So I'm very excited about this morning's topic. But before we jump into this morning's topic, I think something that's important, if you haven't received our newsletter, please, you will receive it on the next round. I do not have sound. Problem on my side? Yes, Loletta. What you can do is at the bottom, where you see I do tech as well, where it says mute and so forth. Just make sure that you connected your sound. Select the speaker and you'll hear the people. That's a bit embarrassing, eh? I'm talking to her and she can't hear me. I'm going to ask Lizanne to maybe just send her a message on Zoom, or if that you can just tell her to go to the sound button. Okay. December and January is always a very difficult month. We don't proceed with any evictions in December, purely because the moment you cancel and proceed with the eviction, you lose your power to put pressure to get some money. So January's breaches has been quite intense. I think my breach team already needs a holiday. After this January, we have seen an increase. Oh, Johan, I know you would appreciate that. There has been a serious increase of breaches that we've seen in January. We've looked a bit at our stats, and the stats has been given through on our mailing list. So please, if you haven't received it on the mailing list, you will receive it on the next round, because when you registered for the Zoom, we got your email address and we'll add you to the list. So that was quite interesting. So definitely an increase that we've seen. Something interesting as well that I've mentioned is we always think January is the worst, right? Because it feels the worst. But we had a look at our stats last year. And please remember, this is just the stats that Expellers got exposed to, and we take it from the clients, overall breaches. The highest breaches that we experienced last year was in May and in November. So that was something interesting. And I don't know if you guys would have realized that, but that was something quite interesting. We have a new system. Our whole focus this year is totally client experience. So if you want to join our WhatsApp, now, just to say, it's not a group, but we're going to add you to a broadcast list. And events like this, or events that we're going to hold, or tips or anything, we will then share on this number. So I am going to ask you very nicely, please, you see this number 072-399-3682. Please go save it on your phone as Expello Chat. This is not a direct line to the breach department or the applications department. It's not going to be linked to somebody specific. It is actually linked to all of us. Is that not just amazing? So please send your name and your the agency you are from. We will then add you to our WhatsApp group, on our group broadcast list, and that we make sure that you get the data. That you don't miss things like this. I often still get people saying, oh, Elise, I didn't know about the webinar, or oh, if I knew about the event, I would have attended. So, and let's face it, we all get so many emails, it's easy to miss something. So please send I will reply and say a special thank you to that. That's one of the things. Then one of the exciting things as well, everything is exciting with me this morning, is that our panel of attorneys has grown. We've got new attorneys, Furbridge, Wortham, and Becker, specifically Jason, that actually is online this morning. Jason, I don't know if you quickly want to unmute yourself and put your camera on. I'm putting the poor man on the spot, hey?
Hello, excuse also speaking loud.
It's fine, Zani. I'm just introducing our new panel attorney, Jason, that is joining us on our Gauteng panel. Morning, Jason.
Thanks so much, Elise. Morning, everyone.
Dankie, Elise. It's acting Zani.
So really exciting to be part of such a fantastic organization. So we're all really excited at Fairbridges, and yeah, we look forward to helping you and all your clients. So thanks for having us.
Thank you very much, Jason. So everyone, the good news is I've got their link here, but if you actually go to Expello's website and you go to partners, you'll see, and you go to panel attorneys, there is a link that takes them to the website, actually to all of our attorneys. And if you want somebody specific numbers, you're welcome to ask any of our breach team, okay? And we will share those details. Shame, remember, I want to almost say, we vet our attorneys, so they know what they are doing. The other attorney that's here, that's not online, is Connie Marais attorneys, all the way from Jeffreys Bay. And yes, we started to do evictions in Jeffreys. No, it's Richards Bay. You see, I don't know why I want to go to Jeffreys Bay. Maybe I'm still in a holiday mood. No, Connie Marais hasn't expanded to Jeffreys Bay, they're in Richards Bay. So there's their details as well. And I want to say thank you to the agent that actually referred us to them as well, because then we know they're going to give proper work. So that's amazing. Some news about this. Then also planning. Now, if you think the webinars are fun, you have to attend our in-person events. Our Joburg event, which is next week, the 22nd of February, is already fully booked. So, but we are having a Pretoria event next month, the 14th of March. So it's more than enough time at the Swartkorps Country Club. Please come and join us on that day. It's going to be exactly the same thing that we are doing next week in Joburg, but it's just going to be in Pretoria. Same thing with Cape Town on the 16th of April at Van Deventer offices. So what we have is you can actually scan, please register because we need to know how many people come, and we do have limited seats available. Lizanne has also dropped the link, so if you click on the link, you will then be able to join us on the 14th of March in Pretoria. We have guest speakers, which is always fantastic, and we always go out and about to teach you guys and give something for your well-being as well. So me and my team is looking forward to meeting you on those events. And you'll definitely learn something new. We are going to touch on vetting, new stuff that's happening with vetting. I'm having guest speakers other than myself talking about vetting as well. And we are going to speak about the breach processes. So those are things that we are going to pull in outside speakers to give you guys some more information. So I'm really looking forward to it, and come and enjoy a cup of coffee with us. Now let's talk about the very difficult topic. And just to see how to solve a problem, we have to start at the beginning of everything. My partner says always, Armando usually says, is I need to tell you something, Elise, but let's start at the beginning. And I think that's the first thing that we have to go have a look at is, and this is very similar to when somebody appoints an attorney. So that's what I've always seen, because believe it or not, attorneys always have the same problem as well. So why do an owner appoint an agent? It's because they don't want to deal with the tenant. Now, as an investor, I know sometimes you have in the back of your mind, you see this person and you know that something's going to go wrong. I don't want to speak to these people. I don't want people to look them in the eye and tell them, sorry, I need you to move out, because you sort of feel like you have a relationship. So from a personal perspective, you realize, listen, I don't want to deal with this tenants. Or as an investor, or many people, they realize that there is so many laws regulating rentals. I don't know how to manage that. I don't have the knowledge. I don't know when to give them notices. I don't know what I can do. Can I take out the door? Or, except for the things that I hear on the street, I don't have the knowledge. So let's get somebody that knows what they are doing. You have a lot of people that just purely don't have the time. Listen, I am working full-time. I want to build my property portfolio. I don't have the time, or I'm looking after the kids. Please, I need somebody to deal with this for me. I don't have the time. Or people that have tried to do it before, they did it themselves and it went wrong, especially on the vetting part. Hey? So owners try to get their own tenant. I'm quite sure there's quite a couple of agents on here, and you're welcome to do a thumbs up or down. When they initially, they get the instruction, the agent will say, yes, I tried to do it myself and it just didn't work. And then maybe there's no specific reason that to say, listen, I'm choosing an agent. So it's a decision they are making. And I think that is something quite important to realize, that this is part of the reasons why people appoint an agent. Many of these things isn't about money. Money is usually the thing that they use as an excuse not to appoint someone. But if they find an agent that they are feeling confident in, they're trustworthy, and they get the communication, they feel it's an extension of their arm. It's a trust person. And I think sometimes we sort of forget, because we work so quickly and there's so much to do, that it becomes like a bit of a cookie factory. And owners actually want that attention to say, listen, I'm taking a very prized possession of yours, and I'm going to look after it very, very well. And I think that is something that we have to keep in mind. But now, agent, so what are you offering the landlord? Firstly, you are in your mandate, you're going to stipulate what you're going to do for the owner. Owner, I am going to take over this whole process off your hands. You don't have to worry if there's maintenance. I will tell you. I will arrange this. I will do it. Or is it purely, owner, I'm only going to do X, Y, and Z? I have this frustration, and almost want to share it this morning. We are busy putting an alarm system into the property, and this technician comes to me and he says, and he starts talking about stuff, and he says to me, so where's the space I can put this whole contraption? And I look at him and I say, firstly, I don't know what the contraption you are talking about. So I don't know what's the amount of space I can give you. So you are frustrating me already by talking in a way that you think I know. We forget this. And the moment you make somebody feel that way, you are not getting a happy person. Okay, shame. The poor technician got my frown, né? Same thing with the mandate. People, it's super important. Take the time to tell your owner what your services entail. And don't assume they know what you're going to do. And talk about everything. Listen, this is what we're going to do in the beginning. If something goes wrong, this is what we're going to do. And the reason why we tell you, because business, we have the plans and the systems in place, because we had other matters where things gone wrong. And because of purely people lost their jobs or what other reason, but it doesn't have to look negatively, but you have to be clear that you have a plan for everything and explain to them what they can expect. So that's the first thing, is make sure that everybody knows what you're offering. When you discussed it with them, what is maybe a good idea is send them a follow-up email with an easy to read saying, this is what we're offering and this is what we're going to do. That is going to help, because I see, let's face it, we all don't read everything. So just by saying, yeah, but I emailed them the mandate, they should have read it, be fair. A mandate can be a very long document. It looks like a lot of legal jargon, and often people just don't want to read it. I mean, that's the only thing. So take time on that. But now, this is where the important thing is. In a lease agreement, where you put the owner's details, yes, you're going to put the owner's name and ID number, but there's going to be a space where it says, what is the owner's elected email and elected address where they will receive communications. While you are the agent, you are entitled to put your email and telephone number in there. Okay, because that is where you sort of tell the tenant that, listen, if you have a problem, you speak to me, you're not going to speak to the owner. You are going to put the tenant's details in the lease. Please, that's super important. Put the tenant's cell phone number and WhatsApp number and email address in the lease agreement. Because now, firstly, we are dealing with the communications from the tenant side to the landlord. That is being blocked by the mandate that you have in place to say you are acting on behalf of the owner. So, tenant, if you need to speak to anyone, you're going to speak to me. And it's not just because I say so. It's because the lease agreement stipulates the owner has elected this email address and this cell phone number that you have to use if you want to communicate with them. Okay. If your mandate ever gets ended for any reason, you have to send a letter to say the lease agreement has to be amended and updated. Please take notice, this is the new where you have to update the lease agreement. But put your details in there. It will prevent the temptation from the tenant to contact the landlord. Okay, so that's one of the things. But the tenant's details, you have to put in there. Now the questions, somebody said to me, but now the landlord can contact the tenant directly. That means your owner is not happy. And we're going to get to that. Because if your owner is not happy and he feels the need to contact the tenant directly, that means the reason why he appointed you has fallen away, or it's not being addressed. So that's one of the things that is important. And again, the owner pays you to be his extension. Same thing with attorneys. People pay attorneys to deal with the problems. The people should speak to that's why the saying is, don't speak to me, speak to my lawyer, right? Same thing. Landlord should be, don't speak to me, speak to my agent. But let's cut away from the temptation, because the tenant's not going to have the owner's details to go to phone him or email him if it's not in the lease agreement. But the tenant's details has to be in the lease agreement, because otherwise, if the email address is not there, you can't email him the letter of demand and the invoices and all of this. Does everybody understand the difference? Why I say you have to have the tenant's details in the lease? Some thumbs up. Yes, thank you, Joanette. I quickly scrolled down and that's the first thumbs up I got. Thank you, Mariska. So why would they then bypass the agent? And now I'm going to sort of say, this is the feeling part. Remember, we are going to talk about something, yes. It's not just about property and laws and regulations. It's about people. It's about feelings. And even if these things do not have merit, the situation, it is as that's how the owner feels. So the one that I see very often is if they feel like they are not being represented properly. So the agent, for example, on a renewal, they waited until the very last minute to confirm whether the tenant is going to stay or move on. The owner is becoming panicky. Says like, oh, this agent is so busy. They haven't followed up with my agent, or with my tenant to find out if they're renewing or not. I don't want to lose income, so I need to know if I have to get a new tenant. Do I instruct them to get a new tenant? What decision should I make? Because my agent is not speaking to me. They forgot about me. So that's when they start jumping in. That's when they start contacting the tenant directly. Tenant, are you now moving or things? Because the agent is not hearing from you. If the moment they start feeling like that, it is because most probably you are just not giving proper feedback. Very often, a lot of notices does go out to your tenants. You have started following the process, but nobody's giving the feedback to the owner. We see it from Expello's side as well. We tell them listen, this is the first step, we have to wait a week. And sometimes they forget in between, or, they feel our feedback is not regular enough. It's because we had to change the feedback to make sure they know this is going to be the next step, that we can start taking them back and they can know that the matter is being dealt with. Yes, we all work with a lot of rentals. I mean, ideally, you want 100 rentals. You should be able to work with it without drowning. But your owners must still feel like they are your most important owner. So that's the one thing that I really want you guys to go have a look at. Make sure when you do something, tell your owner, whether it's just a quick WhatsApp or an SMS or an email saying, listen, this is what we've done. We passed by your property, or listen, we're going to go past there, or we picked up this, or just that regular communication. We're in an era where people want feedback all the time. So use that. Look at your system, see what you have in your office. Are you giving them that feedback? If you have somebody doing this the whole time, I'm going to use a different example. We put in solar, and that company sent messages beforehand, during, and afterwards. And later on, they checked in with us. That made us feel important. It felt like they actually care about us. And what's going to happen? I'm so happy about them. I will tell them to everyone. So I'm not going to tell their name, because this is not a marketing platform or anything to that situation. But just by them doing, and most of those messages was automated. It's part of a workflow or something. And there's no some personal person sitting on their phone typing it to me. But it still created the feeling that they care about us enough to make sure everything is going to happen properly. The second thing is if the owner feels that they can do a thing better. Now, the only time when this will happen is if the agent isn't well educated. And unfortunately, it happens. We still see agents giving sometimes advice that's not properly true. And it really puts the position for us, for example, very difficult, because we're not going to go to the owner and just say, oh, the agent was wrong. but we will definitely speak to the agent and say, listen, there's a problem here because you didn't follow the correct process. So make sure you know what is the regulations, you follow the right process. If you are not sure about something, rather tell your owner, listen, I have an opinion about this, but can I quickly just confirm with my senior, my lawyer, my somebody, and come back to you. Rather double check yourself and then get back to them than giving something and you have to retract. I've seen that makes a big difference. People don't feel, they actually see your value because they understand that sometimes you need to give them that additionals. But you have to be sure that if you tell a landlord you can give notice for somebody to vacate, that is indeed the fact. We have seen an increase of agents telling owners that they can just give notice for the tenant to vacate if there's no breach while it's in the fixed term. You cannot do that. It makes it very difficult. And the problem is if somebody then comes and says, well, the agent didn't follow the correct process. Remember, you were appointed because of your expertise. Now it comes back and say, well, you haven't done what you were supposed to, you didn't do the correct thing. It is going to diminish of the confidence in you. Also, if they feel that they're not priority, you say that you're going to give feedback today and you don't give feedback today, and then they have to follow up with you 3 days later and say, listen, you said you're going to phone me back 2 days ago and you haven't. What's going on? What's going on? It's going to feel to them that you are not giving that matter attention. Sometimes you have to send out a letter and give that person a time to reply, but tell the owner, listen, we send the letter, we're giving them 2 days to respond. Just to manage the expectations, manage the feelings, because it's no longer the time where people appoint you and because of your expertise or whatever reason, they just leave you to do whatever you want to do. So that's one of the things that's super important. Make sure they know that you are doing the best you can and tell them. Say to them, listen, I need to do something, but I don't agree. For example, I don't want to give them 20 business days. If it was up to me, I would have chucked them out tomorrow. But unfortunately, the legal process requires us to do this. And I need to do this to protect you. Reassure them that you are on their side. Okay, that's super important. Feels like the owner will save or get better results if they deal with the matter directly. People will only start using the payment or the money as an excuse if they don't see the value. If you pay for something that you don't see the value, you're going to stop it immediately. I'm quite sure, well, maybe except for gym contracts, but nobody's going to pay for Netflix or Showmax or Disney or whatever things if you never watch it. That's the thing that you go and stop the fastest because you don't want to pay for something you don't use or you don't see the value. So make sure that they can see and say, listen, actually, my team of 3, they make turns to phone and WhatsApp and all of those type of things. So they know that it's quite intensive. I know we haven't received results, but we have actually phoned the tenant like 27 times. And he's on speed dial. But to reassure them, you see how that can just help to manage the feeling. And also, when your landlord phones you and he's upset, don't just listen to what he's complaining about. Find out how's he feeling. Is he feeling frustrated? What is frustrating? Is it frustrating him because he doesn't understand the process? Is it because it's not just because the tenant didn't pay? It's frustrating because the injustice. It's frustrating because he doesn't know what's going on. It's frustrating because it feels we are just too nice to the tenant while the tenant is doing the wrong thing. We need to address those things as well. Okay. But just telling the business, I will get the money is not going to solve the problem. So keep that in mind. Also with renewals, look at your processes. If you need to start earlier to make sure that there's a lot of communications, maybe it's beforehand. Say, 3 months to go, tenant is looking good. we would, do you want to keep the tenant if we need to come to the renewal? Can we find out from the tenant if they want to renew? It looks like you're on top of your game. You are ready to manage everything. And I think that is very, very important. Is there any questions at this stage? Does it make sense what I'm saying? I know it feels like a bit like to Dr. Ruth or somebody giving some advice. Yes. Antoinette, do you have a question?
No.
Okay, I thought somebody was unmuting ready to ask a question. Now, what do we do? How do we prevent all of this? Address the feelings. Acknowledge. Say, I hear you are frustrated. I hear you are, and associate with it. I agree with you. I am as frustrated. Yes, you are right. This is wrong what's happening. I agree with you. But that is super important. The second thing is, before I get to the questions, is give the feedback. Give the regular feedback. Send them the messages. Acknowledge them. If you say, rather say, listen, I won't be able to give you feedback tomorrow because we need to give them some time to give us feedback. So I'll give it in 2 days. If I get something beforehand, I will let you know. Or listen, I have no feedback for you at this stage. We phoned the tenant, we couldn't get hold of them. We kept on phoning, but it's the end of the day. I just wanted to let you know, we worked on your matter, but I have no outcome. They just want to know that you didn't forget about the matter. So I know it sucks to give feedback. I couldn't get hold of him, but it tells them not just that you didn't get hold of them, but it tells them that you're busy with the matter. Okay, so that's very, very important. And remind them, and while you speak about to them, make sure that they know the value that you're offering. Don't assume. Don't say, yeah, but they've been dealing with me for a long time. Most people deal with their agent when they place a tenant and then when they have to do the renewal or if there's a breach. I don't know if you guys ever communicate anything else with the units. Maybe saying, according to our stats, everything is going well, or just this feedback, or something, I don't know, happy Valentine's Day. Don't let them know that they are a valued member. Feelings. People, most things are driven by feelings. And remember, feelings hasn't have to be correct. I can feel very upset about something and it can have no merit. It's not going to change the way I feel. So even if you say, I apologize for you feeling that way, doesn't mean that you're wrong with sending the 20-day letter. I'm so sorry you feel that we are delaying the process. Unfortunately, I cannot change this. If I send another letter, I'm defective and you're going to be prejudiced if this eviction has to proceed, for example. So just go revise some of those things. And by giving them a chance to talk first, air it, acknowledge it, and then deal with it. Sure. Yeah, that's quite a things that one has to take in things. That's what I've seen with my clients in the past. And should it ever happen that a tenant contact the owner should be able to contact you. And you have to be clear to them. Owner, you have appointed me to deal with this matter. Me, or Expello is dealing with the matter. If you are going to start communicating with the tenant, we are going to stop because you are going to obstruct the process. And I have to say, even in Expello, I had to have this candid conversations with owners to say, you are not helping. I understand you are frustrating. I understand you think you're going to help. But what is happening at this stage is you are obstructing. We're standing at the risk that you enter into a new agreement, even unknowingly. So please, we have to make the choice. Either we deal with it professionally or you take it over. But we both can't work on it. And usually if you have that candid conversation with them, they will say, I even had an owner saying, well, I'll give you a month. Let's see how things are happening on the month. We gave them feedback and we proceeded with the eviction, and they actually gave us more than a month to run the whole process. So keep that in mind. We have a question in the chat saying, regarding the number exchange, the owner do their own maintenance. What covers us with the POPI Act? Mariska, I'm not quite sure how you're bringing up the POPI Act in this. So in the mandate, if you are only going to do the accounting part, then you have to put the owner's details in there with regards to maintenance. So that they can go and make arrangements, except if you say, listen, I'm going to arrange with the owners for them to go make arrangements. Before the owner goes to the property, say, owner, you're going to go and do the maintenance and the repairs and everything. If the tenant asks, please make sure that they contact us if there's a problem. Because remember, although you are repairing, the fault reporting we are going to deal with. So they're going to find us on the Friday evening, or they're going to scream at us and we will manage it for you. So just be clear on your mandate. Remember, POPI is there, the protection of personal information. If in an agreement, if both parties is in agreement, they can share their details. That's got nothing to do with POPI. If you take your owner's details and you go advertise it on the street saying, Sunny with this number, phone them, ask them how awesome agent I am. I mean, that's going to be a serious contravention of POPI Act. Remember, the POPI Act was created to prevent all of these spam calls or people just sharing details because you don't want everybody just to get your details, especially for things that you're not interested in. So just to recap quickly, make sure the owner knows when he needs to communicate with the tenant, and make sure the tenant knows when to communicate with us. And maybe after the maintenance was done as well, Mariska, send an email to the tenant and say, we understand this was done. Please let us know if there's any problems. Please communicate with us to ensure everything is on standard. Also creates the impression from the tenant that you are there to keep a sort of standard. I hope that makes sense. Okay. And Mariska, you have, I think she stipulated, they have the problem with the tenant owner communicate without their knowledge. We actually had a very bad matter like that, where the tenant was in default. We started the eviction process, and then of course they got hold of the landlord because they thought now the landlord is going to be more sympathetic, allowing them to stay longer. Now, usually that's what a landlord's going to do. The wrong thing is, and usually we tell our landlords, you should say, thank you for the phone call, but please don't speak to me. Please contact my agent. That's why I have appointed them. So have the conversation with your owner. Owner, the tenant it came to our attention that they contact you directly. What is the need? Is that not something that we can rather handle for you? We will still let you know everything that is happening. We will tell you if we need anything, but this is going to prevent you being in a situation where the tenant puts pressure on you. Because remember, landlord, you're a good-hearted person, and they're going to take advantage of that. And that's really what you want to prevent. In our eviction matter, the landlord they believed all the stories after we told her not to do it, and it really negatively affected the matter. So have the candid conversations. Why do you feel the need to speak to them directly? No, it's going to go faster. So actually, no, it's not. Because they're going to tell you things, you're going to reply. Maybe you don't have the full knowledge or the full facts. Also, what we often see happens, you say to them they have to do something, they go to the landlord says something else, now the tenant says, well, now I don't know what to do, very conveniently, because the agent says one thing and the tenant says something else. So that is something that one has to take into consideration. Okay. Is there any other things that you guys have seen or any other causes where they went to bypass? I know, especially when it comes to on renewal. Then the tenant says, well, I'd rather go to the landlord directly because then I can save some money and the rent doesn't have to increase. The owner they will go to the owner. Owner, I would rather pay you the full amount, then you don't have to pay the agent. So technically, owner, it's not going to make a big change on you. Secondly, with that small increase, if it's really going to be a financial burden on the tenant, we have to make a few choices. Is affordability a problem? Maybe if this is going to be a longer term tenant, not to increase it by 10%, but by less. But let us guide you, because anything legally can happen. Okay. Does that make sense? I hope so. So I have to say, I've still seen a lot, not a lot of emojis, maybe if I'm missing it. But we have an absolute amazing prize to give away this morning, to the value of 1,000 Rand. So before I start ending off, I need some sort of wowing factor from someone. So my closing thoughts are, if your owner has got confidence in you and they become loyal, they will not bypass you. I mean, face it, I've spoke to some agents that said, we actually moved from agency to agency to agency. They will not go to any other agent except me because they trust me. That's the relationship you want to have. Remember, it's not a sale. It's not a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. That property is going to be there. And if the rental is keeping them well and looking after them and all of those type of things, it is going to be worthwhile to invest in that relationship. So that is definitely something that you guys have to keep in mind. Build a relationship, build a long-term investment, and keep your clients loyal to you. It's only if they're not loyal, if they're frustrated by the process and they feel like you don't care, again, feelings, that they will bypass you. I hope that's helpful. So now to come to our amazing price. So let's firstly see, what is the absolutely amazing price? The amazing price is Robot Media is giving 1,000 Rand value of marketing. Now, I just want to say, if you look at our Facebook marketing and some of our designs, they are our marketing company. Anushka is the CEO there. And sometimes just to help with some designs makes a huge difference. It gives you a bit of a professional feeling. It doesn't feel like it's all over the place. So she said she's making this available to one of our amazing team members. And what they will then actually do is they will help you with some graphic designs, even with some copywriting, social media, and if you're a smaller company, with some of your brand things. And I really think this is a very big, valuable thing, especially if you are in such a social media place. So I think this is of a great value. Now, I'm looking at the tally at the back end. Yes, I've got amazing team members online as well that is looking at the things who's going to win this amazing prize. And let's quickly tally. So the prize is being won by Mariska Smith from RealNet and Polokwane, because it seems that you have raised the most reactions and you have asked a question. So congratulations. Yay, Mariska. We will put you in contact with Anushka, and she will be in contact with you and to tell you how you will win and use this promotion. If anybody needs any help with this, we have arranged with Bad Robot Media to give any of our clients who need some help with designs, copywriting, or anything to that, a special discounted price. So let us know. And then just to end off the session this morning, please, I would love to meet you. Come say hello if you're in Pretoria, close to Pretoria. If you're in Cape Town on the 16th, It would be really, really great to meet you. Please register. There's no cost, guys. It's free. We pay you to wine, dine, and give you a show. So it would be absolutely amazing to meet you. So please register while there's still space. Like I say, we are fully booked on the 22nd of February. And if there's any questions, you're welcome to ask me. If you're not an Expello client as yet, please scan this form or send us a WhatsApp on that number that we gave in the beginning, and we will contact you and we can work with you to help you grow your business. We look forward to be of service, and I want to say thank you very much to spend time to invest in your business. Everybody have amazing Thursday. Make sure you celebrate Valentine's all the way to Sunday. Really milk it, eat an extra chocolate, and please keep safe. Thank you.